So good afternoon, everyone. So you're welcome to the first afternoon section on glaucoma topic. The more to drop in glaucoma management. So I'm Dr. Dotan from Vietnam. I'm a vice president of Vietnam Glaucoma Society, also a board member of the Asia Pacific Glaucoma Society. I will moderate this symposium with our four distinguished speakers. Dr. Sahil from India. We're talking about the bringing magic to glaucoma practice, AI, and glaucoma imaging.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I think everyone had a good lunch and are not feeling sleepy. Anyways, I'll try to keep everyone awake. So the topic that I'm going to speak on is bringing magic to your glaucoma clinic. Yeah, I actually wanted to go back to the first slide. Can you go back? Okay, so mostly I'll be talking about AI, and artificial intelligence is something very close to my heart. I've been working on it for quite some time in Singapore. So I'm currently a clinical research fellow at the Singapore Eye Research Institute, and I have no financial or commercial disclosures for this presentation. So this is, I would first like to thank MediaMice, Matt, and the team. This is an image actually from our hotel for the beautiful welcome to Vietnam and having a great conference here, which can be attended both virtually and physically. I think after COVID, this thing is very important that we meet more, share more, and do good science together more. Coming on, India recently had its 75th Independence Day, and if anyone is interested in our books, we have 75 free copies to give away. So you just scan this link, send me a message, and we'll send you digital copies of the books. I think they will be very helpful if you are looking for an introduction to AI and ophthalmology. So my talk today will cover some of the challenges that we have in glaucoma care. It's always very important to address community screening for glaucoma. Look at how diagnosis, imaging, and the management of glaucoma can be improved. And finally, how patient compliance, education, and quality of life can be improved. So for screening in glaucoma, I think Selena Plus now is very well known. So this is the Singapore Eye Lesion Analyzer. It can detect diabetic retinopathy, glaucoma, and age-related macular degeneration with fundus images. It works somewhat like this. We take an image, it goes into the cloud, it is analyzed by the algorithm, and you get a printout. And then this printout can help both the patients and the doctors. They can help you make early clinical decisions. And as a patient, simply going to a GP can get you actually a screening check for diabetic retinopathy, glaucoma, and age-related macular degeneration. It is being piloted right now in Singapore under its AI program, and I think soon it will be introduced to Southeast Asia and several other countries in the region. Going on, we have done some work with the diagnosis and imaging aspect. So this is a paper from BJO. So a common problem that doctors have is we do a OCT scan and sometimes the signal strength is poor. We don't know if the thickness is decreased because of the disease or is it just aging. So we developed this algorithm. It is a machine learning algorithm. You can go to this website and use this algorithm. So what it does is it helps you correct for the age-related change due to media opacities, and it can give you corrected values for the OCT RNFL, the macular thickness, and hopefully this will help make the decisions easier, whether the thinning is age-related or is it actually glaucoma. Going on, we have done some more work on contrast sensitivity and glaucoma. So contrast sensitivity is a topic, again, very close to my heart, and it is, I think, something which we do not often evaluate in glaucoma patients. However, contrast sensitivity is primarily the first visual function that is affected. It is affected even before sometimes you see visual field changes. So we did some work on this. There is this tool called Sparks. It's a very interesting tool that can easily be implemented into clinical programs in your hospital. So what it does is it does a quadrant-wise assessment of the contrast sensitivity. It gives you not just the central contrast sensitivity, but also the peripheral contrast sensitivity. And what we have found is that it's a tool that can actually help differentiate between mild, moderate, and advanced glaucoma, and actually may be useful in picking up early glaucoma cases as well. Going on, this is another topic that I often like to discuss. So this is the evolution of perimetry. So we know it went on from the tangent screen going to the arc perimeter to different iterations of the bowl perimeter, the tablet perimeter, and currently the newest kid on the block is a VR perimeter. Most of the work that I have done previously is based upon the tablet perimeter. So with the tablet perimeter, there are multiple apps that are available. The work initially we did was with Visual Field Easy. However, this version is not that good. What we found was that only in advanced glaucoma it is useful. However, for mild glaucoma, it tends to misses a lot of cases. But it's good to report that the developers have come out with a new version. It's called the Melbourne Rapid Fields, and it has much more interesting and accurate results. So if you guys are interested, you can go to the iPad or the Apple Store and try out this app. Going on, yeah. So again, thank you, Cake and Pie Expo. So these are some images from Hoi An. I think if you find time, do go there. It's really a very beautiful city. So another work that I have done quite often is imaging with smartphones. So we have published quite a bit of case reports taken from images using these smartphones. And we are working on more work on how to make these smartphones as a much faster, easily deployable tool in your glaucoma clinics. So I'll share some of the things that we have done recently. So this is smartphone bleb photography. So, you know, we make our blebs after doing our trabeculectomy or our MIGS implants. And then we sometimes tend to miss documenting how the bleb is evolving. So what we did in these two papers is standardize the technique, how bleb images can be taken, and then used classification systems to actually grade the images. So later on, over time, you can actually follow up the blebs, see if the bleb is fibrosing or not. And then if you do an intervention, look at the bleb and its health. So right now in Singapore, we are actually working on a deep learning algorithm, which can actually do automated grading of these blebs with the Indiana bleb grading system. I think soon we'll publish this paper. Going on, using smartphone images again, this is from my team as well. So what we did was take smartphone images of the interior segment of the eye, and then we were able to predict the anterior chamber depth using these images. And our results were actually quite impressive. Going on, our group is also going to work on using these images to predict gonioscopic angle closure as well as ASOCT parameters. So what this means is you don't need to have a ASOCT machine. All you need is your smartphone. And we will be able to provide you these parameters, these predicted parameters from smartphone images only. Going on, this is another project that we are working on currently. So this is using fundus images and OCT images. So we use our deep learning algorithms to actually predict the visual field from this. Again, the paper will be out soon. So you can see that deep learning algorithms can be used across a lot of modalities, and it can also be adapted on to quality of life improvements in the patients as well. So this one is a very simple example of how we can improve compliance in our clinics. So this was developed by a group in the UK. So what it is a small, simple passport in which you record every visit of the glaucoma patient, and then they carry it home. I think the most interesting thing in this is simply how simply putting in instructions on how to properly put the drops. A lot of times in my glaucoma clinics, I see patients coming up putting glaucoma drops for 10 years and they still don't know the right technique. So if there is something that they can take with them right in the first visit, I think it will help greatly with the quality of life aspect. Going on, this has also been adopted as a web diary. And right now, there are also different variations of it available as smartphone applications. So whenever I have a new glaucoma patient or I have a very inquisitive glaucoma patient, I make sure I spend 5 minutes with them and discuss these options because these ones can help with compliance a lot. I've seen a lot of improvement in compliance and adherence with these applications. Going on, as you can see from the small snippets in my talk, there are endless possibilities of what can happen in your clinics. You can use smartphones to take fundus images. You can use them to take anterior segment images. You can take them and you can use different applications to create good personalized follow-up schedules and reminders for your patients and overall improve the quality of life of the patient while doing all of this. Finally, I would like to end again with a few images of Bana Hills. Thank you, Cake and Pie Expo, for having me here. Finally, with a note of thanks to my teams in SERI and GMCH. Thank you. Are there any questions? I'm happy to take them.
So also from you kind of inventing a lot of software available for, and it's, I think it's in future it will help a lot, especially for the surgeon with the imaging, the angle, and so the imaging, the bleb morphology. And so is it already available and can download like a app so that you can use with the microscope and with slit lamp to image the bleb after surgery and have a grading system?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Tan. I think for any advancement or improvement to existing technologies, there are two ways of going about. One is you existingly have a smartphone, you try and use it in a different way so you can easily bring it to the clinic. The other way is to invent a new software, go through FDA approvals before you do that. So the part that I shared about the bleb imaging, you can straight away use your phone. In the papers that we have written, we have described what is the light setting you need. We have described what is the distance you need and how you can get a good image of the bleb. So it is something you can do straight out of the box. All you need is your phone. Yeah, you don't require any software for imaging the blebs. It's all about adjusting the exposure settings in the phone and getting the composition of the image right. So when I talk about imaging of the eye, it's more of an artistic thing rather than a technical thing. You need the composition in a way that those images are reproducible because you want to take it over time again and again, and those images are also analyzable at a later stage. So the grading that we used in the paper is called the Wurzburg grading system. We did not use the Indiana bleb grading system. So there are different systems to grade the bleb. So typically the Indiana bleb grading system cannot be used in this case is because it depends on a two-dimensional structure of the height of the bleb, which is not visible on the 2D image. So yeah, so what you can do is straight away take the phone, go through our paper, and yeah, you can start imaging the next time you are in clinic.
So you have to take a photo with taken through the slit lamp or directly on?
Actually, you can take it without the slit lamp. You can take it with your phone. Yeah, yeah. You don't need the slit lamp for those images. Yes.
So these photos, the quality of image is good.
Yeah. So a lot of times the quality of the image would depend upon the device that you use. Typically, most of the studies that we have done have been using iPhones or Galaxy smartphones. But usually, if your phone is after, say, about 2018 and has a 12 megapixel camera, that is already good enough. You don't need more than that. That's all you need.
Because we in the past, I'm from the Vietnam National Eye Hospital. We have some project with Samsung or other company from Korea. They try to use AI and fundus photo and to make a diagnosis of maybe glaucoma or diabetic retinopathy. But our impression after the project that is the quality of image not good enough, and the device themselves is very big, and it's a little bit difficult to manipulate.
Yeah, you are right about that. So there are two ways of thinking about the situation. When a company looks at it, they want to invent a device so they can sell you the device. We coming from India, in India, there is a term called as jugaad. It means how to use whatever the resources that you have in the most optimum way. It takes a little bit of practice, but the images you get are very good. I think Dr. Ashish Sharma is here as well. He is in a different session. So he invented a simple device into which you can fit your phone, you can fit a 20D lens, and you can take images with that. The images you get of the optic disc from that are actually very, very good. Yeah, the only drawback is you need to dilate the patient. It can also be done with simply your hand and the phone. It's simply like doing an IDO with the 20D lens and your phone. The phone that you need to use needs to have a good flash, and you can take the images straight away. So whenever you would depend upon a company, the devices would be bulky because they would be engineered to be used only that way. When you try and kind of experiment on your own, you'll find out that it's not that difficult. It's just like acquired skill. Like 90D, when we initially try to image the disc, when we are seeing it on the slit lamp, it is a little tough. Then it gets easier, and after a time, it becomes like second nature to us. The same thing with smartphone imaging. All you need is a little practice.
Thank you very much. Are there any more questions from the audience? Okay, so if none, so I'd like to thank